important shipwreck would be, most would say the Titanic, right? That is, after all, the most well-known one in history. But there have been many other shipwrecks that occurred here in America on the Great Lakes that are just as significant but little known. One of these is the shipwreck of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald. During this speech, I want to inform you of this shipwreck and several things about it. The history of it, the magnificence of this ship, and the life of a crew member that would be on this ship. When we're all young, some of us would have played the game Battleship. If you're unaware of what this game is, there are two opponents. The goal of the game is to make sure that all of your opponent's ships have been bombed. Now, you want to make sure that your ships aren't bombed. While this Edmund Fitzgerald was not a battleship, and it was not brought down by a battleship, it was known as the largest ship on the Great Lakes, and yet it was still brought down. And it is still a mystery to this day as to exactly how that happened. When I was younger, my dad would always bring home books about the Great Lakes and books about the SS Edmund Fitzgerald and ships just like it. Now, I really didn't care about it as a kid, but I grew to learn to love history through stories like this that he would tell me. So this is me trying to bring more awareness to a topic that is little known. The history of this ship began by the Great Lakes Engineering Works. They built this ship, and it was the largest ship on the Great Lakes. But as we all know, biggest isn't always best. According to the SSEdmundFitzgerald.org, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald set sail on its virgin voyage on the 24th of September, 1958. Now, this was not when the ship went down. The Fitzgerald went on to sail for 17 years with no problems at all. This ship broke many records, including one for the most cargo ahead. It was known as the flagship in many different places because it was such an elaborate ship and was so well known. On November 10th, 1975 is when this big ship sank. Captain McSorley, the second captain of this ship, had originally intended for this voyage to be his last working voyage. Little did he know that it would be his last voyage at all. The ship went 530 feet underwater, only 17 miles away from a safe point called Wright Safe Point. This is 17 miles away, but almost an entire day because they could only make 2 to 3 miles per hour in the storm and the wind. A nearby ship heard a call from their transmission and answered it. The last transmission from Captain McSorley went, "We're holding our own, going along like an old shoe." While these words, "we're holding our own," may have seemed of a comfort to the people on the ship and the people listening to the transmission, words were not enough to keep them afloat. Captain Cooper, according to Michigan Radio, who was the one that answered this transmission, said, "My gut feeling was I knew she was gone when I couldn't see her on that scope. Turning around, I hated the thought of going back out into the sea." Captain Cooper, once he was aware that the ship had gone down, he didn't want to go back out there because he knew that this one great ship was no more. America lost not only a record-breaking ship that evening, but also 29 irreplaceable lives as well. There were 29 crew members on that ship, ranging from the captain to the lowest of the low. The crew members lived a working life like many of the people we know today, but they also left behind other things, such as family, and they also left behind a legacy. They did their best to captain the ship and to man it while there was a hole in the bottom and the rails were down and the storm was tearing it to pieces. But according to the Blade of Toledo, Ohio, this was not just a serious thing for them. The crewmates also knew how to have fun while they were on the job. They were notorious for their card games, often playing late into the night, and one crew member apparently won enough money to go out and buy his own ship at one point. But all these things lie in the bottom of the lake, just with them. The things that lie above the lake, though, are still affected by this. Nobody realizes that there are survivors. I mean, my kid's father's on that ship, and my husband is on that ship. According to Michigan Radio, is what widow Janice Armagost said. Janice Armagost was the wife of the Fitzgerald's third mate, Michael Armagost. People just think of it as a shipwreck that happened so long ago, and it's really not. The magnificence of this ship, the history of its sinking that was still somewhat of a mystery, the remnants of it that are still on the bottom of the lake, and the often forgotten crew should go down in history just as Titanic did. This should not be forgotten and just passed by the wayside because it's not as well known. It doesn't have a movie written about it either. I urge you to go out and tell the story to your friends, to really take to heart what you have learned about things that go on in your own country. And I urge you to delve into the depths of this story, to go out and listen to the last transmission, to learn the stories of these crew members and see just exactly what they went through.